Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you find me right now. You will always find it right at the right time whenever you need to hear something. So even if I recorded this years ago, you will find benefit if your soul called you to it. I am Jenna Ross. I am the owner of Spiritually Savage Mindset Strategy Coaching. I am a channeler, psychic, medium, card reader, coach, spiritual mentor, teacher, whatever you need to call me as I help you along your way. I apologize for not having videos for 3 days last week. I got all of your feedback and I'm sorry. I was traveling and visiting with my family, and some of the relationships are strained always when I go there, so it's always an emotional time. I tried to record beforehand, but it did not work out that I was able to upload some of the things. So you will see those things at a later date, and the universe will work it out for us the way it's meant to be. So I thank you for giving me grace in that, but I also thank you for watching the channel and for getting guidance from this and allowing me to do what the universe has me here to do. So I thank you for all your feedback and your likes and your comments and shares, and please subscribe if this aligns with you. So last week, I was with my family, but I was there because the week before I had my niece and my bonus niece and my nephew, and they spent the week here with me in Georgia, and then we took them back to where they live. It's very interesting because my niece is just coming into her gifts, or realizing her gifts. I won't say just coming into them, but she doesn't have a lot of support and guidance and mentorship there in her house, because she doesn't live with people that have intuitive gifts that use them the way that I do every single day. And so realizing you have gifts sometimes is confusing and hard to manage when you don't have that type of somebody to help you with them and point them out. So it's very interesting when you remove the noise and understand like your own voice. As intuitives, I literally hate the word empath, but I'll say the word empath because that's what some people use and want to identify themselves as. So I'll use it because it's a buzzword term right now. But as people who take on or feel other people's emotions around them and sense other people's energies, it's very confusing if you don't know your own soul voice, because you tend to not know what is yours and what is theirs. And so it gets very confusing and people get very overwhelmed. And so it was interesting as teaching her to listen to her soul voice and understand that your soul voice will speak to you in your voice. When you hear it, when you feel it, it will be your voice. You will recognize it because of the familiarity. Okay, when you call people on the phone and they know you, like if your kids call you or your parents call you, your best friend calls you, when you pick up the phone, they don't have to say, this is so-and-so. You just know it's them. And that's how well you should know your soul voice. When it speaks, you should go, that's me. That's my soul voice. When other people that you're familiar with, when they're reaching out to you telepathically and stuff, you should be able to identify their energy and their voice the same way. You recognize that. That's so-and-so. I know that immediately. People around you, when you feel their energies, it will be foreign to you and you should not take them on. And a lot of people who are empathic or intuitive or have gifts that don't use them or recognize their gifts or know how to use them have a lot of depression and anxiety because they're pushing it down because they don't know how to use it and they don't recognize what it is. So a lot of times when you get in public, you feel that anxiety, and it's not anxiety, it's other people's voices making a lot of noise inside your body, and you don't know what that is. And so it's really important to get to know your soul voice so that you know that that doesn't belong to you. That is not yours. It's not anxiety. It's just an abundance of energy. And you have to reassign that and rename that in your body, that sensation in your body and in your head. It's not anxiety. It's an abundance of energy. And understand that it's not yours and that you don't have to feel it or keep it or anything. So it was interesting. We went to Helen in Georgia, which is one of my favorite places in the world, and it's meant a lot to me for most of my life. And I love it there, and it's very calm, and it's a lot of fun, and it has beautiful water flowing through it, and I have a lot of great memories there. Made a lot of great plans there. Had a lot of amazing things happen to me there throughout my life. And one of my close soul tribe owns a rock shop there. And so I love to be there, and I love to be there with them and to just share, that time with them and the, spiritual connectedness and soul connections that we have. So I took my nieces and my nephew there. With my son and my son's father, and we all went and visited and, sight saw and, went to the glass blowing shop and stood by the river and took pictures and just all kinds of things. Well, we decided to eat in a restaurant there, and we were all starving, and we go in, and I can tell immediately, I can tell not only just from observation, but I can feel my niece's anxiety, And so I sit there for a minute, and I'm trying to let her work it out. And she's really hungry, and I can tell she really wants to eat. But now that she's perceiving it as anxiety, now her stomach is queasy. Now she's feeling lightheaded, like she's going to pass out. And I can tell. And if you experience this as an empath or an intuitive or whatever, understand that it is just you acclimating to the energy. Stop feeding into the, oh my God, I'm going to throw up. Oh my God, I'm lightheaded. Oh my God. And I said to her, hey, are you okay? And she said, normally she would say, I'm getting ready to have a panic attack. I'm having a lot of anxiety. But I was waiting on her to pick up on the fact that it was somebody else's energy. And she said to me, I'm feeling very panicky right now. My stomach is queasy and I'm feeling a little lightheaded. And I said, do you need a minute? Do you want to get some water? And I said, what do you think it is? Because there weren't that many people in there. And as the waitress came over and dropped off our waters and stuff like that, she said to me, I think it's the waitress. And by the way, it was. I was just really excited that she was able to pinpoint it that quickly, because that's one of the things that I've been trying to get her to understand is other people's energy, you can pinpoint it and see where it's emanating from. And so she said, I think it's the waitress. And I said, you think so? And she goes, yes. So she waits, and the waitress kind of goes away, and it eases up a teeny bit. But when the waitress comes back, she feels it spiking. And she said she must be really under a lot of stress. She must be very anxious about some things and blah, blah, blah. So she was able to let it go. She didn't like the energy, but she wasn't making friends with it. She didn't accept it as her own and intake it and react to it because it wasn't hers. She recognized that it wasn't hers, and she was able to let it go. And that's one of the really important things as an empath or as somebody who's a clairsentient, clear feeling. You feel other people's emotions. That doesn't mean they're yours to take on. It doesn't mean you're supposed to take them on. It's like somebody telling you a problem. Just because they tell you a problem and you save space for them doesn't mean you have to solve the problem, or that you're supposed to solve the problem, or that you're even supposed to be there to help support them in it. You are just supposed to hold space and say, okay, you have a problem. And that's one thing that I noticed, that people who believe they're empaths, or people who want to be in this victim mentality of I feel other people's anxiety and cripple themselves. We want to intake it, and we think that our ability is to help other people. And our ability is honestly to help us heal. And us healing is how we help the collective. We inspire other people to heal, but our job is to heal ourselves. That's our responsibility here on earth. But just because we feel it, one of the things that if you identify with it very strongly, that's your compass to know that that's what you're supposed to be healing within yourself. When you go out and you feel heightened emotions, pay attention to the emotions that your energy is making friends with, that you accept. I am in quite a few empath groups because I like to see the collective of this culture. And a lot of the empath groups that I'm in, it is a victim mentality. It is, this gift makes it unbearable. I never want to leave my house. I don't like to be in crowds. That is not what this ability does for you. That is what you are doing with this ability. You not learning how to use it properly is what's crippling you. It's your fear and you're being uncomfortable with doing the work that is making it unbearable. So one of the things, I saw a post the other day that was talking about all of the things going on in the world and how it makes them as an empath not want to leave the house, that they hadn't left the house in almost 3 years. And I want to tell you that when you create those rules for yourself, when you get into an agreement with other people's emotions and you agree to take them on and paralyze yourself like that, that's you making an agreement. Don't take on energy that is not yours. It is just like in life, people pleasing. Okay? We are meant to have boundaries. Other people get to live their lives the way they want to live them, and they should not infringe on our life, as in we should not allow them so much say in our life. You taking on other people's energy is just like you allowing your mom to tell you what career to have. You allowing your family to tell you how they feel about your relationship and adjusting. You allowing somebody else to tell you where to live. It's people pleasing, and it's not what that ability is for. Because when you do that, you literally say, this person's energy and their problems and their emotions are more important than my own. I'm going to layer theirs on top of mine, and I'm going to paralyze myself and not live my life because of other people's emotions. Do you hear me? Okay? So stop making agreements and making friends with other people's feelings and other people's emotions and allowing those emotions to control how you run your life, how you live, how you're able to function, because that is not what this gift is for. This gift is for you to learn to heal yourself. I keep hearing in empath groups that empaths that they are born out of trauma. You have trauma and that awakens you to your gift. That is absolutely not true. Or that you have trauma and that gives you this gift. Absolutely not true. You are born with your gifts. Okay? You have always had them. You have always had them and they've always been around. You just were unaware of what to label that feeling or what to label that thing that was happening or how your feelings inside. You were labeling them as something else. Okay, so what happens is the reason you have these gifts is because your soul has agreed to specific challenges in this life that you may view as trauma, but that your soul just agreed to as what needs to happen for lessons for you to advance more spiritually. These gifts do not make you more spiritual. You are just at a higher level in advancement. I look at it like it's a video game. The more lives you have, the more lessons that you've learned and stacked up, the harder it gets, because it doesn't get easier because you're moving to the boss levels. And the boss levels, you need skills, you need gifts, you need things along the way. As you advance on your journey in lives, it does not even mean that you're more spiritually awakened. It just means that the lessons get more difficult. And you have collected things throughout these lives that you have put in your tool bag. I always look at it as the Legend of Zelda. When you beat something, they dropped something. You picked it up, you put it in your bag, because when you got to the next level, you needed that tool. You didn't know why. You didn't know why that challenge arose. You didn't know why they dropped this thing that you didn't need right then. You need it at a later date. Pick it up and keep it and use it when you need it. Okay? We cannot look at things that have happened like lessons, trauma, however you want to label it, and think that that happened for no reason. All of this stuff keeps happening for no reason. You're not picking up what's being dropped for you. You're not learning the lesson, picking that up, keeping the nuggets of gold and the strength and the closure of that cycle. You're not closing out that level. So you have to keep repeating it. And the level looks different each time, but the same. The circumstances change, but it's the same enemy. Okay? Insecurity, jealousy, self-worth. Those are the same enemy. They just dress in different clothes. And until you address that lesson and close that cycle and pick up what's needed and put it in your satchel and walk on to the next level, you cannot progress. You needed these abilities to help you pinpoint what you needed to heal within yourself. Stop using it as something that you feel like is handicapping you. You cannot say, this ability paralyzes me and is a curse and keeps me from accomplishing exactly what the gift is supposed to help you accomplish. You're literally taking the axe that was supposed to help you chop down the tree and hitting yourself with it, and then crying about how this tool is injuring you and paralyzing you and keeping you from doing your journey effectively. Stop using it against yourself and making yourself a victim. Nobody can make you a victim except you. And so you are saying, boo-hoo, I don't want to do this. I don't want to feel all this. But this is exactly what you needed as your compass to point to exactly the lesson you're supposed to be learning in these challenges. Stop handicapping yourself and then blaming it on your gifts. Gifts are just tools. You're just not using them appropriately. And by the way, if you don't know how to use them appropriately, find someone who can help you. I do private readings. I do private coaching. The link is in the description below. If you need help, reach out. Find somebody that resonates with your soul and reach out and talk to them. We are not meant to do this alone. Witches had covens for a reason. We are a collective for a reason. People have tribes for a reason. We are meant for community, and you are not going to figure your gifts out alone. We are meant to be teachable. And if you are not teachable, then you are not going to learn in this life. Okay? You have to learn to take direction. You have to learn to reach out for help. You have to learn to accept help. Because these gifts, you need to always be learning from somebody who has been using them or is further along in their journey than you. Nobody is above or below anybody. Nobody is more spiritual or less spiritual. We are all exactly where we are meant to be. But some people have honed skills and are able to do things that you want to learn to do. So reach out and ask them. Because if you are paralyzed by your gift, you're not going to be able to get out of that by yourself. You need somebody to help you sort. You need somebody to help teach you. If you didn't know how to drive, you may be able to figure it out, but it's going to take you a much longer time, and you're never going to be as good at it as if you don't have somebody teaching you, okay, this is what this does, this is what this does, because now you're doing trial and error and you're holding yourself back. Okay? There is a lot of information out there, and some of it is not going to pertain to you. A lot of us, when we're on this journey in spirituality and trying to move forward, we just Google and everything catches our attention. Twin flame catches our attention. Tarot catches our attention. Oracle cards catches our attention. The pendulum catches our attention. Mediumship catches your attention. All the clair gifts, all the intuition, all the empath stuff, all of the challenges that come with it. And we paralyze, shadow work and all the stuff we paralyze ourselves with, and we don't know where to start. And it's because you need to start just moving along and finding somebody to help you, because your soul knows exactly where to start. You just need somebody to help you learn to listen to your soul. Your soul is going to have the map for you. You just need somebody to help you access that sometimes and block out the noise. Because sometimes you don't even know there is noise. Sometimes you feel like everybody who's an empath feels that. And you talk to other empaths who don't know how to use their gift, and they validate that they feel that too. And you go, okay, that's normal. And you just dismiss it and don't learn how to push forward, where you're talking to other people who are still having on the same level you are that need help. Stop paralyzing yourself. Stop just accepting this is the way life is, and learn why you're here. Because we're all here for a specific purpose. So I want to challenge you to really understand that in this spiritual path, you are going to know your path, but sometimes you have to have somebody to help you interpret that. And I'm not saying someone to tell you what to do. I'm saying somebody that can hear you and feel your soul and can help interpret, because sometimes you're on a different wavelength than your soul is. Sometimes you're not at a place where you can hear it clearly. But sometimes when I talk to prospective clients, they'll say things over and over and over, and they don't hear what they're saying. And I'll say to them, can you hear what you're saying? And I repeat it back to them. And I say, do you know what that's you telling you this? And they go, oh, no, I feel that. Because your soul goes, that's it. And it taps on you. You know when somebody speaks truth to you. Sometimes you're resistant to it and it triggers you, but you know that it's truth even if you don't want to deal with it, even if it makes you incredibly uncomfortable, especially if it makes you want to attack them. It usually is something buried in there. Okay? So we need to be more accepting of help. We need to learn to shove out the noise and to hear our soul voice and to get to know our soul. And we also need to stop making agreements with other people's energy. It is, you know, your empathic abilities are not born out of trauma. Your empathic abilities are here to help you get through the larger challenges that your soul set up for you in this life. Stop viewing it as trauma and viewing it as something that should cripple you, and just view it as this is the next level, and it's more difficult than the last level was. Each challenge is going to be more difficult because you're going to learn a bigger lesson from it. You're going to weed out more stuff from it. You're going to advance further in your journey from it. Be grateful for it. Be grateful for it. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being with me and for appreciating and aligning with the message that I send. And I thank you so much for all your subscribes and likes and reaching out. And again, if you need help and you need support, hit my link below and schedule yourself an interview for coaching or a reading. I would love to help you learn to listen to your soul. And I will see you tomorrow.